Good evening, gladiators. We who are about to play salute you. Welcome to episode 39 of Ollie Plays. Apologies, it's been about a week since the last video. Been pretty busy. Busy is good. It's always good to be busy. But tonight I'm back and I have a very contentious game to play for you tonight. And that game is the one and only No Man's Sky. Now, this game came out in 2016 from a company called Hello Games, and it was very, very controversial for many reasons. And I'm going to load the game up in a second, and we'll talk through its many controversies as we go. I've played this game for about 5 minutes last night, just getting a bit of a feel for it. But I gotta be honest, I don't really know how to play the game, so it's going to be an interesting next hour or so. Alright, let's get into it and have a bit of fun, shall we? Hopefully fun. I've heard some interesting things. Alright, No Man's Sky. There's my keyboard commands. Alright. We come prepared. Okay, so we're going to create a new game. Now, I tried out the normal mode and the creative mode last night, and the normal mode I found would take far too long for us to get into space and try and find another planet, and so I'm going to go straight into the creative mode and see if we can have a bit of fun. Right, so the game is loading up now, and it's got this really nice starry background as we fly through the galaxy. This is a procedurally generated universe, and so the game is made up of allegedly 18 quintillion planets, which is 10 to the power of 19, or more planets than there are grains of sand in every beach in the world, blah, blah, blah. There's a lot of planets, and more than you'll ever explore in a lifetime of lifetimes, and probably too many. What the game's doing now is actually generating some of the planets and basically building the first galaxy that you end up in. Now, this game was built by Hello Games, and which is a fairly small team and led by a guy called Sean Murray, who was a controversial figure. He was a bit of a publicity hound, not camera shy, and fond of telling a good yarn or two. So when this game was demoed very early on, they did a trailer that promised it was a spaceship landing on a planet, much like the planet who we are. We're arriving on Northa Ingu, and I'll talk to you about that in a minute, but it had a sort of a jungle planet, and a spaceship landed, and there was dinosaurs moving around and a lot going on, and it seemed very impressive, and everyone really lost it for it. They thought this is going to be amazing, and they slowly drip fed hype and more hype, and Sony, who was the publisher, so it was an indie team. Sony's the publisher, but they were not a small indie team by any means. As far as you got Sony backing you, and the hype train was real. Anyway, when the game finally came out, a lot was missing from it. Tons of content that was promised. The main thing being multiplayer. Sean Murray had said, they said, well, will you be able to visit other people in the game? And he said, yeah, probably, but space is so big, you probably never see them. Reality was they hadn't put the code in yet. Finally, with this new update, the next one, it's in there. I got to admit, this does look kind of nice as far as the filters and so on. It has this sort of 1960s, 1970s style sci-fi vibe. So moving around, you got a jetpack, so you can fly up a bit. on it right. Like, we're on some kind of jungle. No. Not a jungle. It's a deserty planet. Some rocks there and some unique looking flowers you can mine. Oh, it's a mineral. Let's grab that mineral. Ferrite dust. Alright, let's climb up. We'll go back to our ship soon. Yeah, so from what I read, everything just about in this game is procedurally generated. From the flora and the fauna to the sky above you and everything. Some nice looking solar rings there, like Saturn or something like that in the background. And which in and of itself is very impressive. You know, there's a ton of work that's gone into the procedurally generated element of the game. Problem is, and this is probably the third or fourth planet I've been to in the 2 or 3 playthroughs I had. Grand total of about 10 or 15 minutes playing this game. The planets look the same, really. I mean, they look different shades and so on, but they don't look that different. When you have a randomly generated system for everything, sometimes it can just spew up garbage and stuff that just doesn't look very good. Alright, so we don't have a mining laser for that. It's our options menu, I can't remember. Something. Oh yeah, okay, so use our gear. Analysis is fine. We can scan stuff to find things. A mining beam. It all looks nice. It's a pretty looking interface. What is a bit weird is you have to hold down the mouse button to select stuff. A lot of people had some problem with that. I quite like the jetpack. It is simplistic, but it doesn't run too fast, but that's okay. He's in space. Scan. So we're scanning. Got our glasses on. Some crap over there. Copper. What's the color of a 2-cent piece? Copper. Alright. That's our ship. We don't need to mine that. We can grab. We'll get in there, I think. So now we're entering a spaceship. I'm gonna try and blast off, if I remember how. Hello, please. Blast off. There is a way. There we go. Do a little bit of flying. Whoa. Okay. So there's a bit of a chasm there. How deep does it go? Not that deep. Yeah, look. I'm gonna tell you my number one problem with my very, very limited experience with this game, but I've seen other people playing it and so on. All these planets, but they're all single biome. So what I mean by that is, this entire planet is going to look like this, and you could probably fly around for ages on this planet. But this is all you're going to see. You're going to see some hills, a couple of trees, maybe some kind of weird looking procedure generated animals that don't really make that much sense. And then you're going to see this kind of ugly vegetation. Now, I got a pretty kick-ass computer. I bought it last year, and it's, you know, got the latest video card and plenty of RAM and so on. So the detail has been turned right up. But it's kind of ugly. I mean, granted it's procedure generated, but this isn't a very exciting planet. I don't know what to tell you. Like, this is the game, you know. Let's get out of here and see if we can find another planet. Into space. Send a message out to Earth Control. Send Starfleet legions to save our soul. Yeah, he always gets singing in all he plays. You're gonna love it or you're gonna hate it, but you're always gonna get it. Alright, so we now have discovered a system. So one of the other things you can do in this game is discover and catalog systems for like this giant wiki, which is kind of nice for the completionists. I guess, which, you know, you can be part of something by naming a system. I mean, I don't know. I mean, this all looks pretty nice. Like there's some kind of like radiation clouds there, and there we go, hyperspace. Some asteroids. Like technically, it's very impressive from what they've been able to do. And you got this cool sci-fi music in the background, but I don't know. It's just kind of dull. Like that looks really nice. That's beautiful. Yeah, that's pretty spectacular. So I'm kind of a little torn, you know, because I've been a bit of a vocal critic, amongst my friends anyway, of this game. You can blow up mining. I just feel like it's a lot of style over substance, and it, you know, it looks, parts of it look gorgeous, and this all looks really nice. That beautiful rings of Saturn and some of these asteroids and the lovely purple space behind it, but the game is just kind of dull. But maybe that's just because space is dull. I mean, objectively it isn't. Space is anything we want it to be because it's infinite. But at the minute level, it's so vast and so empty, and I guess so repetitive, that what you're really expecting a game about it to be. I mean, this game you go from planet to planet sort of mining and collecting garbage to sort of upgrade your ship to go to the next planet to mine and collect more junk. Did Hello Games really ask themselves, is that going to be fun? Is that a fun thing to do? And I don't know, is this fun? Are you having fun watching the video? Let's try and go somewhere. Was that the planet we came from? That's a space station. Let's go to the space station, see what's happening. 24 minutes away? Can't be right. That's not good for a live video, is it? I actually don't know how to go to planets quickly. Oh, the pulse engine. Do the pulse engine thingy? Approaching warp speed! There we go. I forgot there's a space bar. I mean, all the effects are really cool. It actually looks a lot cooler on my screen than when I saw it in video, and I'm gonna give them a lot of credit for that. But I can't really see myself playing this for 30 hours or 50 hours like a lot of people do. I know they've added a lot of content since launch. You can build bases, you can go around multiplayer and catalog mushrooms together, you know, but like, what's the point? I mean, I'm missing it. I think I'm just missing it. You know what? You know, the problem I think is partly me. I think if I was 10 or 12 and I still love space, but I loved it more back then, I would probably be so enamored with this game. There would be so much, you know, kids' imaginations are vast, and they kind of fill in the gaps that we as adults can't. And where I see this sort of procedural generated mess, vast empty mess, they can put stories in their heads that fill in the blanks. You know, this planet is home to this ancient alien race or so on. There is a story in this game. There we go. Well, okay, we're at a space station. So how do we dock? We bounced off it. Where's the door? Oh, there's a planet. This is a planet called Gale. Gale the planet. Right next to planet Pam and planet Jenny. So what happens when you have a random generation from everything, you often just come up with junk names. Now, can I get out of the ship? By pressing exit? No. Where's the bloody door? There's all this epic sci-fi music in the background. And our hero can't find the spaceship door. Why not? I mean, there's, you know, the thing is, there's tutorials you can read and so on. Oh, there it is. Okay. It reminds me a little bit of the, it's called The Tet, I think, in that really cool Tom Cruise movie, Oblivion. We went to that giant space station. So from what I read, that there's all these space stations, but they all kind of look the same. And there's, in this vast gallery of 15 quintillion planets, or whatever it is, there's only 4 other sentient races. This is kind of weird. Let's jump out. Hey, I'm here to party. Use my jetpack. Sweet. I don't know. I mean, so much of me loves what they tried to achieve and loves parts of this game. And the other part of me is really torn because of the shitstorm of Sony's promotional campaign and just Hello Games' real reluctance to tell the truth about what the game was and what it wasn't, and they charge so much for it that I don't really want to give them, you know, too much of a free pass for the hot mess that they put out in the beginning, you know. Alright, here's an alien. Let's have a chat. Whoa, what the hell is your face? That's some... Oh yeah, so our character is called the Traveler. Give him a gift. Alright, good chat. Can I attack him? No. Whoa, you're weird looking. So you slowly can learn their languages by the hell? You know, it's interesting because I saw this game when it came out first in 2016 and it was a bit simpler than this. It seems like they've done a lot of work in adding story and a bit of a narrative to the game, which is kind of cool. He did a fart. Great. That's something you expect from a swords and sandals game, not a highbrow space simulator. He's a navigator. Hey guy. Maybe there's more alien races now than there used to be. That'd be cool. Browse missions. Okay, so there's now... Alright. Problem is, these are all procedurally generated missions as well, and so they basically just fetch quests. And it's, you know, go collect 10 foozles and then bring them back here. So we'll take that quest. Accept that. You know, and that stuff is just busy work, really. Alright, let's get the hell off this dump. I can't go in there. I want to jump into the void. Alright, so we're a customer of the Gek. Nice to know. Yeah, no, apparently the game is multiplayer, which is cool. Hey, there's a ship. Should we take that one? I'll buy it off you. I'll give you one. Who knows? It's all very complicated. I'm going to decline. See ya. We've got a ship. Happy with my ship anyway. Off we go. Whoa! You know what? This game would actually be pretty cool in VR, I think. I think it would look really nice. Yeah, oh, there's a planet. Scan that. Arsenic. Weird names. Alright, let's go there. I think the enjoyment you're going to get out of a game like this really comes down to how much you're willing to invest yourself in just creating the story in your head, because, well, while it does seem like there is a story, I can imagine it unfolds quite slowly and probably isn't that incredible. The original, what the hell is this yucky planet? It's like a Technicolor yawn planet. Whoa. Do we even want to land here? We'll go down there. The problem with procedural generation is you're going to get some pretty disgusting looking planets like this one. Entering that sphere. Oh, look, we're burning up on entry, it seems like. The main quest, I'm in creative mode so I can kind of do a bit more, but I think the main quest you spend an hour or so just kind of mining crap before you can do anything. Alright, there's some structures here. That's interesting. Is that a structure? Should we jump out? Alright, so it's like a snow planet. Did we leave any footprints? Oh, come on, no attention to detail. This planet looks kind of alright. There's sort of earthy looking trees. Let's zap it. Problem is, like, the part of me that wants to like the game is for the idea and the grand vision, but the reality is a lot of the time this is all you're doing. You're firing a laser at stuff to collect it. Which, I mean, I guess a lot of games that's all you're doing, clicking at something to get something else. But with the real absence of any kind of meaningful life on these planets, they might as well all be the same, aside from the color variations and so on. Oh, there's some animals, right? So allegedly you've probably never seen these things before, but they look kind of like weird dinosaur bird things. Let's kill one. If you kill too many of these things, a big sentinel robot comes and scan that guy. Hey. New discovery. Alright, we discovered some crap. Okay, return. I thought I scanned that guy. What? I wanted to look at him. He is an animal called a Seleucaria. But I mean, in the end, like, they're all a bit dumb, aren't they? Like, I mean, they're just gonna either run towards you or run away from you. And how willing you are to be convinced of any kind of sentience is up to you. I don't know why I'm shooting these trees down. I love the night sky and the planets off in the distance. There are some beautiful moments, I will admit that, It's just hard for me to imagine that you could play this for 200 hours and really see anything that blew your mind. It is kind of zen though. It's the kind of game I can imagine you playing maybe while you watch Netflix in the background or something, It's kind of therapeutic and a little pleasantly surprised by that element, but there's also elements of it that are just a little bit overwhelmingly dull. I mean, this kind of, when you look at this, procedural generated, there's some nice sort of ash and snow there, but it just looks like a PlayStation 2 game or something. This kind of proc gen landscapes have been around forever, and while technically its engine is capable of doing some wonderful things, there's also probably capable of, you know, spitting out some hot garbage, or cold garbage, as the case may be here. And really, I'm just getting some minerals, identifying them, and then you can craft them into something else with your little mission thingy and scan it, and then you get better scanners. And but what are you really doing? I don't know. Little spoiler alert. Close your ears if you actually do plan on playing this properly. But Hello Games promised that when you the aim of the game was to get as close to the center of the galaxy as you could. Let's get up there. Get me up there. Here we go. And something amazing would await you. Unfortunately, when you did get there, you know what happened? The whole thing faded to white, then black. And then it dumped you back at the beginning of a new galaxy. That was it. The center of the galaxy, nothing. Only what you take with you. Well, there's a big black hole here. A chasm. That's kind of unique. And maybe I've been too harsh on it from my early reviews. Maybe there's a whole bunch of stuff that I haven't seen. I'm sure there is. I'm going to jump in and hope there's something cool there. No, it's just a tree. See, it's kind of one of the problems with having everything random is it'd be nice to have a couple of set pieces. There's a game called Star Citizen, who I'm sure you may have heard of because it's the most expensive Kickstarter in history, and it's raised something, I don't know exactly, but it's like $100 million that the game designer Chris Roberts has raised for the game, and it's wildly ambitious, and it's probably the best looking game I've ever seen in development. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just flying up and up and up and hoping that the jetpack holds. There we go, cool. Get back to our ship. Get to another planet. What's that thing? Yeah, Star Citizen, right? So, it's the opposite of this. Everything is handmade, and it's intensely so. What the hell? I got a planet. Great. And you go to the planets in that game, and they look like they've been handcrafted, and they're a lot smaller, the areas you can go to, but there are proper set pieces. So this game promised, you know, giant sandworms and events like, you know, a herd of dinosaurs running away from other dinosaurs. But it's rare you see anything like that. You'll never see nonsense creatures like this pseudo dinosaur, but it's not doing anything other than walking around. You could follow this thing for 10 minutes. It's not going to do anything. It's just going to wander up and down the mountain. Not really chasing anything or really acting like a sentient creature. It's just doing what it's doing. You know, a buddy of mine, Ben Leffler, a fellow game designer. Let's kill that thing. This one's for you, Leff. He is a very good game designer, and he's a big fan of this game. And then he told me one of the reasons why was his young son. One of his young sons played this a lot, and they make up their own stories. And I think that partly is a target audience because, like I said, if I was young and had the imagination of my youth, I'd go nuts with a game like this. I'd have a great time, and I think I could play it fast. Because the garbage games that I played back in the day, the space games especially, like the original Elite and so on, were really just dots on a map. And we do get a little spoiled because technically this is impressive, although this stuff does, you know, the planets themselves do look a bit, this looks quite dated and ordinary. Let's get out of here and go to another planet, huh? Yeah, I don't know what to tell you. No Man's Sky. It's dreadfully boring. It really is dreadfully boring on one level, and on another level, hypnotic and engaging. And I kind of am a bit biased because I didn't really like what I saw of Sean Murray, the main designer of this game. I just felt him to be a bit disingenuous, and then when the game came out, he sort of hid from all criticism. I mean, they didn't really necessarily take the money and run because, you know, they have patched the game and fixed it up 2 years later and so on. The game is apparently a lot closer to their what they want it to be. I'm sure there's a shortcut to getting back to the ship. That would be nice, but we're bloody walking over to it. Oh, there we are. But, you know, he went dark when the game was launched, and there were huge criticisms of it. He didn't have a lot to say. I mean, the guy was basically every game developer's dream. They had vast amounts of good press, very good press, and they made out like bandits. When the game came out, sold so many copies at 60, there we go, you know, $60 a copy or whatever, and they made a killing. And I don't know, it just wasn't handled very well, and he just didn't like the look of him. Simple as that. Sure, he's a nice guy, but yeah, I wasn't a fan. So that, rightly or wrongly, and probably wrongly, but that definitely put me off the game. But I'm glad I've tried it now. I can't say I'll ever come back to it, but maybe when my son Isaac is old enough, he's only a baby now, but maybe I will show him this, or a game like this. And I can see him loving it, you know. Let's get out of this star system. There you go. Should we go to that planet? That looked a little like this planet. I guess one of the things that keeps you playing, but it's probably a futile exercise, is the hope that you're going to see something you've never seen before. And technically you are, but on another level, what are you really seeing that's that different? Is it so different than, say, my Swords and Sandals games? They have randomly generated gladiators made up from 16, 20, 25 different bits of hair and beards and 20 different skin colors. And technically you could probably see 18 quintillion different gladiators, all with a different random name, but are you really seeing anything that different? So here we are on another planet Ihar. I was hoping to find an ocean planet. Maybe this is one. There we go. That's cool. It's kind of a normal looking planet. Sweet. It does feel fun flying over the planets at this altitude. Well, that water looks a bit garbage. I don't know if it's meant to be water, but definitely not very impressive. Although I'm sure there are planets with much nicer water. This is probably some kind of toxic substance. Let's land. Whoa. Let's land. Whoa. No. It's like Luke crashing on Dagobah. Down for a bath in that lake. There's some grass. That's something we didn't see. That's nice. Some crystals. I mean, all you're really doing though is just clicking your mouse and getting some rocks and then doing it again. Rinse and repeat. I mean, the thing is, I guess that's what science and exploration is, in a sense. You know, the explorers of the age of exploration the 18th and 19th centuries, exploring, and earlier than that, of course, exploring the jungles of deepest Africa and South America, and a lot of them spent their lives cataloging mushrooms or identifying a million different kinds of lizards. Was it fun? Probably not. Alright, we found some machinery. Good. This is meant to be a pleasant planet. Weather pleasant. Go figure. Alright, well, we don't have anything to repair it, so it's going to stay there. Is that a Venus flytrap or something? Nah, just a fern. But there is what looks to be a base or something here. Apparently now you can find other players in your games. I don't know if I selected the right game mode for that, but people can set up bases on land or underwater. A lot of people had problems with hey, that's cool. So you can do all this stuff. Upgrade your things of things. I mean, to be honest, because I'm only going to play the game tonight, that stuff doesn't really matter to me, but it is nice to see they have added some more depth to it. Yeah, really polarizing game. One other problem I kind of have with it is the sense of scale. Although it's vast and infinite, if we have a look around here, it doesn't look that big, you go out to, say, now I've traveled the world, and last year I was in Mongolia for, in fact, my honeymoon, and actually we eloped to China and Mongolia as a fun story, but we were in the Gobi Desert, and the sand dunes just rose above you, and you could climb up them. Some of them were 200 meters high, and you'd look out over this vast, vast world. And I feel like if I climb that mountain over there, I don't get that sense of the vastness of the planet. The lack of multiple biomes. Maybe if your character was smaller or the scale zoomed out or something, but it just still feels kind of small and pokey, which is really weird for a planet, a world with so many planets. Hey, come here. You can feed him to whatever end. Now we have barbecue. Can you eat him? Nope. Will this guy trust me? I mean, that looks like a goat. It's a bit weird. Scan the goat. Whoa. That's great. We'll rename this discovery as a dull goat thing. There you go. Captured for posterity. Great. Well, I'm glad that I could contribute to this world, the No Man's Sky universe. Let's go for a swim. We're underwater. Water effect isn't terrible. It's not great. I do like those little water splashes when you come out of the water. I have seen it in a number of games. The water on the lens. What I would like, and someone mentioned this before, the oceans don't get that deep and the mountains don't get higher. It would be kind of cool. I know this is this is nitpicking, because on a technical level it's incredible what they've achieved, but sometimes you just want to see something even bigger and more vast. so oceans that really go down 8-9 kilometers. In real space, even our closest neighbor Mars has a planet. I mean, it has a mountain on it called Olympus Mons. It's actually a dormant volcano, and it's 20 kilometers high. And it has on one side these cliffs that can be scaled, and each cliff is about 8 kilometers high. So on one side it's this kind of slow incline, but you go to the other side and you look down and there's this drop of 8 kilometers. So if you imagine looking off the abyss there, that's what space is. This kind of seems busy, and it's full of just junk and colored lighting and things, and I get there's this sort of sci-fi aesthetic to that, and fair enough, but what I would love to see is maybe a game kind of like this, but a little bit more like, if you like space, do yourself a favor and see the movie Interstellar by Christopher Nolan. Incredible film, and it really captures the terrifying nature of outer space. They only go to a couple of planets, but they feel vast and, you know, huge and terrifyingly lonely. There's one scene with this sort of electronic pipe organ music playing where the ship is traveling through the solar system, and I think they go past, I think it's Saturn. It's either Saturn or Jupiter, but I think it's Saturn, and the ship is tiny, and the planet off in the distance is this vast, terrifying thing. Just, well, we fell in a lake while I was looking at the camera. Blonk. Hardly heroic, our poor little Iron Man. There are caves in this, but yeah, so Interstellar really captured that. Oh, this is cool. We're diving now. And I'd love to see a game that was a little bit more of the scale of that. Nice that we can go into this underwater cave, though. You know, I didn't know that. And I'm sure there is probably a million things like that I've never seen in games like this. But then, what are you really doing? Getting some kelp. I mean, a game like Subnautica, which I'd like to play at some point again on my channel. Actually, I haven't played it for the channel. Does a really good job of kind of showing off the vastness of the ocean. Can we go through there? Hopefully. This does a little bit of that, but it's more like we're in a pond. Oh, where am I? Couldn't get through there? Why not? Okay, that's ugly. Oh dear. Jitters. Let's get off this planet. We'll visit one more and we'll call it a night. I wish I knew how to get back to the ship quickly, but I can't be bothered alt-tabbing out of the game. I've got a torch. That's handy to know. There are moments of beauty in this, for sure. This is really nice, swimming up in this cave, seeing some kind of plant life on the roof, but then there's also awful color clashing and a game of true contradictions. And you know, the reviews were definitely mixed, and now the gaming press tend to love this game. They really champion it, and you're still going to get people that hate it as well. Having played it now, I don't hate it the way I thought I would. As a game, I think it's really dull. As an experience, I don't mind it. I don't know, it's confusing like that, isn't it? You know, it's not something I've ever played before. The music is lovely. You probably can't hear it so well, but it is nice. like to don't have to die so we get back to the ship. You know, the thing is also, these guys got a bit of a free pass because most indie developers, myself included, we never really get the game. We never get to make the game we would love to make. Budgetary constraints, time, all the rest. These guys didn't, but then they still made a killing. They released an unfinished game. And yeah, they got hammered for it, but they made a ton of cash. And they were able to have the luxury of finishing the game off a few years later. And most developers never get to do that. They have to abandon the game. The publisher pulls the plug on them, or you know, the game isn't funded properly. Disaster. Studio's laid off. It's all over. This is the mess. I need to get out. Is that the way out? You'll never forget the 10 minutes you and I spent in this underwater cave together. I feel like those brave kids in the Thai cave. No, that actually was a real experience. This is just a silly game. Here we go. Alright, we're out and it's daytime now. Yeah, it's a prettier planet than the ones we were on before. Where's our damn ship? Oh, it's all the way over there. God damn. Well, don't fall in there again. I mean, good on them for trying something so grand. Smash. I'd love to see what we as game developers can do in maybe 10 years from now. The virtual reality experience plus the technology that we will have could make for something truly unique. Not that this isn't unique, but it's also dull, and maybe we'll find a way around that by really immersing you with the VR headsets and the anti-gravity stuff and everything. Because imagine, you know, really jetpacking around a virtually generated planet or something. That'd be fun, huh? Come on, go faster. The jetpack, unfortunately, this is the minimum jetpack. I'm sure it gets a lot better. It doesn't last for very long. What do we see up in the sky? Oh, the grass is in the way. That's a bit ugly. Pretty. Yeah, I guess we're fortunate we did find a relatively pretty planet, because I have seen some shockers. And Lord knows maybe the next one will be a shocker as well. But that's the beauty and the terror of No Man's Sky is you never know what you're going to get next. Fair play to those people that actually managed to finish this game. I don't know how many hours it took you, but damn. What an effort and exercise in patience. For me, I would really love to oh, what am I doing? Take off. Off. Off, damn it. I always forget the damn take off button. Not that, not scan. You have to forgive me, it is quite late here in old Sydney town. Oh, we jumped out of the ship again. Great. Heroic. There we go. Blast off. I mean, that's cool. I do get a kick out of that. There's something very cool about blasting off and then seeing yourself in outer space. Now, is that a planet we've been to? I don't know. Scan it. Dusty planets. Let's head there. I mean, it does bring to mind that old saying, wide as an ocean, deep as a puddle. Because I just don't know really if all this eye candy is really just disguising the fact that the game is not that entertaining. What are you really doing when you go to these planets? What's driving you forward other than learning the languages of those weird little space aliens and developing, finding out fragments of a story? I guess that might be enough, but is this fun? I mean, we're looking at a kind of hypercolor screen. It's fun in the beginning, but is it still fun after 10 hours? I don't know. Oh, we've run out of fuel now. Well, that's no fun. So what am I supposed to do? Refuel with asteroids. Okay. So we've come out of an asteroid field and no one's happy. And I feel like we might just be lost in space. I'm not really going to wait around 24 minutes to get to that next planet. So I guess our journey in No Man's Sky ends here in this beautiful, lonely asteroid cloud. We could shoot them all down, mine them. Magnetic pulsing in the background. Vast and lonely. An orbital ring there. A planet. We could go there. What will be there? Who knows? More of the same? Something I've never seen before? Who knows? Anyway. Yeah. No Man's Sky. Interesting. Very interesting. Yeah, I've got so many conflicting thoughts on the game. As a game, I think it's pretty terrible. As an experience, I think it's pretty memorable. So, if that's something, I don't know. They definitely achieve something. And, whether you like games that are arty, or you like your games to be more traditional, maybe this game is for you or isn't for you. In the end, I don't think No Man's Sky is for me, and I don't think I'll play it again by myself. But it's not as terrible as I had originally believed. It's not as good as people say either. You read some really glowing reviews about it that would make it seem like, this experience that would change your life. And in that hour or so, I felt like, my life wasn't changed. I can't imagine there's anything in the game that really would blow me away, whether it was encountering some space pirates or other ships or other people. It might be interesting, but the engine itself just isn't that much fun to just go around mining stuff. And the scale of the planets feel a little too small, and the mountains feel like molehills. So anyway, interesting experience. I'm glad I played it in the end. That's it for tonight. The next video I'm going to continue with my the games from my past, some of the Flash games that I made, and I'm hoping to do the top 10 favorite games that I ever made. That'll be coming up in the next week or so. Thank you to all new subscribers. I appreciate having you on board. Please leave me a comment if you've played No Man's Sky or any other games in my collection so far. Gosh, we're almost up to 40 now. I'm trying to do two of these every week, at least for a year, to see if it can build some momentum. have a bit of fun with it. At some point I'll probably stop, but I'm having fun for now, and I hope you are too. All right, everybody. Thanks for being with me for the last hour or so, and I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.